Hey everybody, this is Dr. Cheryl Schmidt from Vital Chiropractic, and welcome again for joining us this Monday, this glorious Sunday. It's very sunny out here right now on a Monday in Washington. So if you happen to not see us live because you're out there playing in the sun and getting some vitamin D, then thank you for joining us later. This is Dr. Heather Gullett Denniston, and I am happy to have her join us today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Heather, and we're going to get just rocking and rolling with all kinds of awesome tips she has to share with us. So Dr. Denniston is a seasoned chiropractor with additional certification as a wellness chiropractor. She is an NASM trained certified personal trainer, an avid athlete, health enthusiast, and writer who has passion for inspiring people of all ages to ignite first steps toward their personal best. Through online content, public speaking, and coaching, Heather shares wellness, fitness, and nutrition expertise for those looking for deeper change. Dr. Heather is the author of the 3-Day Reset and the creator of the online wellness program called The Change Cave. So thank you for joining us, Heather. I am excited to have you here to share with my people. I bring people on because I want them to have all kinds of access to people to live a healthier, well, fit, great, empowered lifestyle. And you are one of those people that is out there doing that for people of all ages and ranges and genders, and people who are just starting to get into fitness, and people who are elite fitness and changing diets. So I am excited to have you here today and to tell people.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. You have a great show.
Oh, thank you very much. So I think we talked about what we really want to share. What is the thing we really want to share with people? Yep. And I think the big thing I really want to share with people is how to take small habits and make huge change and have huge effect with those small changes. Because I think people get overwhelmed. Especially we're just getting into February. We just kind of did the new year. People have already given up on their New Year's resolutions. They're already eating the cake again and they're done. They feel like they've failed. And I think people have big expectations for really quick changes. So I think I really want to talk about what are some of your tips for people who want to make healthcare changes, but to make realistic, small, doable changes that have big impact over time. So I'm just going to ask you what you have for tips or anything you want to share on that topic.
Well, I think it's important, Dr. Cheryl, that we talk a little bit about, why people are going after these options. Why do people want to be healthier? Why is this wellness movement so popular? And I think the biggest thing we need to understand is, although we have one of the most expensive healthcares in the world, we are one of the sickest nations in the world. And we have just insane stats around obesity, cancer, all those things. And people are sick of it. They're sick of being tired. They're sick of feeling awful. And they're looking for change, and they're not getting it to the degree that they want to or with the results that they want to from their general doctor. And so now they're starting to take things into their own hands. And what I see happening out there is what you just mentioned, which is leaping to big changes, huge, overwhelming goals it's a recipe for derailment from the get-go. And so I think you're really, really great to bring up this topic for your listeners, because that's the missing link, is how do we create habits and routines that are sustainable and long-term? And so I think that's really good. There's a fellow named Richard Swenson who wrote a book called Margin. And it's an excellent book. It's older. He's a medical doctor, and he has this concept that we no longer have any margin in our life. We don't have margin in our agendas. We don't have margin in our relationships. We don't have margin in our work. We don't have margin. We have no free time. We have no margin in our free time or social life. We're trying to maintain too many friendships, too many relationships. And his whole thing is that it's making us sicker and sicker and sicker. And so, although we have all this access to healthcare, we are not a well people, are we?
No, that's very true.
Yeah, for sure. And so small changes, absolutely. So there are lots. I have studied and studied and studied on this, and it's really interesting because I'm taking a business class right now, and in it he quotes somebody named BJ Fogg, and BJ Fogg is a Stanford person who, he's a psychologist at Stanford, a teacher, and his whole thing is on habits, on implementing habits into your life, and he teaches people how to do it. And ever since you and I talked about this podcast, his stuff has come up 3 or 4 times in different places. So I thought I've got to share it here today because it's really powerful stuff. And we're going to get to that. I want to talk about Tim Ferriss first. He did the 4-Hour Body. Have you read that?
I haven't read that one.
It's this massive book. Considering he wrote the 4-Hour Work Week, it's funny he wrote the book like this big about transforming your health. And he has in there something called the MED, the minimal effective dose. And what his precept is that let's do the least amount possible to get the biggest bang for our buck in our nutrition, in our exercise, in our stress. Let's not make it overcomplicated. Let's not make it too hard. Let's find what we can do that doesn't take up too much time, but gives us the most for our money. Make sense?
That makes absolute perfect sense.
Yeah. So a lot of my stuff that I post on the WellFitandFED website comes from that line of thinking, is this whole minimal effective dose, these little short burst workouts, easy meal prep tips, things like that. So starting as far as micro habits go, and then we're going to talk about BJ Fogg at the end because his stuff is so cool. The one thing that I started doing when I started changing my health, and some people don't know, I share it quite often, but I was very, very overweight in college. I was very unhealthy. I was dealing with 4 different autoimmune disorders. And so I slowly had to transform my health over the last 20 years or 30 years. And one of the changes that I made that really made a huge difference for me was at night, taking a 1-liter bottle of water, setting it on my bathroom counter, and start hydrating from the moment I woke up. I would try to get that liter of water gone before I even left through the door. So that's tip number 1, is everyone knows we have to hydrate. People almost always overstate what they think they really think, oh, I drink tons of water. And then when you actually ask them, they don't actually drink that much water. So we want to hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And starting out in the morning so we can meter it throughout the day gives us great advantage. You don't want to try to pile it all in starting at 3 o'clock because you've forgotten to drink your water, right?
And that's a great tip for, especially, I have a lot of busy moms. And we get up and we have bombarded with questions and things from the kids and this has to be that. So if you have that water right there in the morning, you just grab it and you go. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so I really like that one. My second one is implementing, and this is particularly true, well, it's true for everybody, but women between 30 and 55, their bodies are different, our hormones are different, and interval workouts are actually way more effective for our metabolism, for weight loss, for energy, for stress level, for so many things. And so what I mean by interval workouts, in case people don't know out there, is instead of hopping on the elliptical and prancing on that for an hour straight at, one level, we're going to take our intensity up and then down, and then up and then down, and then up and then down. And you create a shorter workout. It's much more intense. And you can get a Tabata workout, which is a type of interval workout. You can get that done in about 12 minutes. And so you don't have to be working out for an hour, but you do need to put some intensity into your workouts. You should be out of breath. You should be sweaty. It should be hard. And those little burst workouts, and I'm going to put a link to an article I wrote called 5 Burst Workouts for Your Home. There's one for the living room, one for the bedroom, one for the kitchen, one for up and down the stairs, one for the backyard. And so they're 5-minute workouts. They're not even very long. They're just 5-minute workouts. I'll put that link below. But that's the type of exercise and fitness I think we should be doing, is burst workouts, short, intense, and it's not going to take up your whole day. And you can do them just with your body weight, at home, no equipment, is perfectly fine.
Yeah, and that's great too, because things that you can do at home, because sometimes we can't get to the gym and we can't get, away from the family So home workouts are awesome. I do almost all my stuff at home. So
yeah, that's great. And I'll put a link to a website called Fitness Blender, and it's all free workouts. You set the time that you have to work out, whether you have any equipment or not. And they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different workouts that they talk you through. And it's a fantastic website and it's free. So that's a great one, fitnessblender.com. And number 3, well, I'm increasingly understanding this to be true, and that is that sleep is our number 1 health priority. Yes. And so I would be remiss if I didn't give one of the micro tips regarding sleep, and that is to create a sleep cave. And what that means is it's completely pitch black, so you have to get rid of all ambient or junk light. And by junk light, I mean the little light in your smoke detector. I mean the little light coming out of your dimmer switch. I mean any kind of light leakage from anywhere. You shouldn't be able to see your hand in front of your face. No pets as much as possible. No tech an hour before bed. And if you can keep all tech away from your person at night, so put your phone in the bathroom, use a battery, alarm that doesn't have junk light coming out of it, or, definitely set your phone to airplane mode if you have to use it as an alarm. But that's another thing too, is just removing tech, no TV in the bedroom, and keeping the bedroom super cool as well. We don't realize that we sleep better when it's cold in the room. Our body's effort to re-warm helps with our melatonin, helps with our sleep inducement. And so we want to be cold going to bed, okay?
What temperature do you recommend? How cold?
Well, it depends on whether you're perimenopausal or not, like I am. So, so I actually bring mine down to like 62, 63. Okay. It depends on what you can tolerate. I like to have it almost at what I can't tolerate, and then have tons of blankets if you want, right? But you want to sleep. You want to get in cool. You want to start out cool. You can always add blankets, but it's harder to get it cool, right? And so I think that's really good. Number 4 is a James Chestnut favorite. James Chestnut is a chiropractor who teaches wellness-minded classes. I took his certification, and one of the greatest things I learned from that class was his 3 F's, fresh fiber first. And so his concept is that anytime you eat, you start with a portion of vegetable, and that helps your digestion. It helps your probiotic count. It helps you digest the rest of your food that you're eating, be it protein or fat, but always start with a portion, great if it's raw, of mixed vegetables. He even went as far as to say, chop up a bunch of carrots, celery, broccoli, cauliflower, radish, whatever, into little bite-sized pieces and stick it in your fridge, and just take a couple tablespoons of it every time you're going to sit down for a meal, especially if you don't have other vegetables on your plate. And that can be very helpful for digestion, for weight management, metabolism, all of those. Fresh fiber first. Okay, moving. Now, we talked about exercise, but we want to talk about movement, because we are, as far as number of movements a day, like getting up, walking across to the copier, moving around the house, we're doing less movement than we ever have as a nation, and it's causing serious problems. There's a woman named Joan Vernikos. She is a NASA scientist. She studies astronauts coming back from wherever they were, and what her sole study is their health issues. When astronauts come back from space, they have health issues. They have back problems. They get diabetes early. They have anxiety, depression. They get certain types of cancer more frequently. Well, after 30 years of studying this, she actually noticed another population has all of those problems as well. And it's people who sit, people who do not move enough. And you might think, well, how can that be connected? They're both anti-gravity, right? When we sit, we don't have, gravity is not playing with our bodies as much as it is when we're moving around. And it is a recipe for disaster. It can definitely cause problems. So increasing your daily movements in whatever way you can do that. Get a standing desk. Make sure you're parking far away. Do all the things that you can to improve and increase the amounts of movements that you have in your day. Yes. Any questions on that?
No, I just, because I have kids, I automatically think of the movie WALL-E when people are talking about just, getting sedentary and losing all your bone mass and having all these health issues, because you've seen that movie probably.
Yes. And that movie was so striking to me, how well they nailed it. Those, even the relationship things, how they stop having relationship because they're looking and talking to a screen the whole time. And it was a scary statement on the direction we're going if we don't quickly put a stop to it. So increasing daily movements can affect your health in more ways than you might realize. And so that's really key as well. So
I was going to say, like you said, it doesn't have to be massive movement. It's just getting up and being weight bearing and moving.
Yeah, Joan even says in her book, and her book is called Sitting Kills. And she has some exercises to do, but she even says, just stand up, load the spine with gravity and sit back down. Even that is something, right? That can help. And so it doesn't take much. So that's a good one. So let's talk about habits, Dr. Cheryl, because that to me is, I'm realizing it really is the missing link, is how do we incorporate these routines and habits into our life? And BJ Fogg gives us a couple things. First of all, he talks about using tiny habits to get started. And what he means by that, he uses the example that when he comes out of the bathroom, every time he goes to the bathroom, comes out of the bathroom, there's a place in his hallway, he gets down and does just 2 push-ups. Just 2 push-ups. And that is a tiny habit. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't make you feel like you've just lost a lot of time. And suddenly 2 turns to 4 and 4 turns to 10 and 10 turns to 20. And if you're doing it multiple times a day, those tiny little habits can start to add up. He also talks about ease. So if you're going to say, I'm going to start working out in the morning, then create ease around that. Set a really great alarm tone. Sleep in your workout clothes if you have to, or at least have them folded up right next to you on the bed so they're ready to go. Have your gym bag packed. Get a workout partner. Anything you can do to facilitate ease around a habit is key. And he also talks about grafting habits, or some people have heard it called habit linking, where you and I do this as chiropractors. When we say to a patient, hey, I want you to do these stretches, I always would say, I want you to do it when you brush your teeth in the morning and when you brush your teeth at night. Because guess what? Everybody brushes their teeth in the morning and night. It's already a habit. We don't even think about it. So if you can link a new habit to an old habit, you're going to be much more successful. And so habit linking was that one. And then, this was a cool one. So he used the example of paying bills. He hates paying bills. And he said he wanted to make it a habit in his life that every Friday he paid bills. And he had kind of some negative emotion around it, right? And our brains know that. It responds to that. So if you have negative emotion, it doesn't want to make that habit really well ingrained. Yeah. So what he started doing is when he would sit down to do his bills, he would pay a bill and go, yay, I'm awesome. Pay a bill, yay, I'm awesome. Pay a bill, yay, I'm awesome. And he tricked his brain into thinking this was fun and great. And the neurochemicals that dumped went to foster a better cycle of continuing that habit ongoing. And so celebrate and get excited about the habits that you're wanting to implement. Even if you don't really like them, find a way to celebrate and literally do it. So those neurochemicals get dumped. The habit has a better chance of being implemented into your life.
It's funny how we can trick our brains into doing those things because no one likes to pay bills.
I know, right?
Now all of a sudden you're awesome. So I think that is that's obviously awesome. So
I have one more thing too, and that's the concept of neuroplasticity. And what that means is that you can change your brain. Your brain is dynamic. It's moldable. You can create new pathways. And so the idea is that your brain it's not selective. It's going to carve pathways to what you do. So if you are staring down the open end of a bag of chips every night, it's going to carve pathways to telling you to do that at night. If you start getting up and going to the gym and you keep doing it over and over, it's going to carve a pathway to the point where even on vacation, you're going to wake up and go, oh, you feel like you need to go. Yeah. And so that whole concept of neuroplasticity, I like to describe it as this. When I was a kid, we used to ski a lot. And at night, because we still had energy left, there was a sliding hill down behind our condominium. Yeah. And the first time you carve a path down a sliding hill, you're like kind of trying to get it, push the snow out of the way, and you're trying to get down. But the 30th time you go down, it's slick. You go flying down it, and it's amazing. And that's what neuroplasticity is the more that nerve fires, the more it travels that path, the more it wants to, the more easily it does. Your brain wants to be efficient. So each time you practice a habit, it's going to become more and more of a slippery slope for it to happen the next time.
Yeah. And it takes some time to create that pathway. It doesn't happen just overnight, but it's little steps over and over and over.
Yeah. Another lecture I just listened to, also on habits, it's kind of like in my space right now. He was saying that all the research points towards 66 days for a habit, 61 to 66. Mm-hmm. So we all hear different things, 21 days, this, that, the other thing. The actual research points to about 66 days. And so for those of you out there who are wanting to change eating habits and exercise habits, he really, back to BJ Fogg, he really suggests pick one. Don't try to implement 10 things at once. It's not going to go well. You need to build that neural pathway and then add another one after about 2 months.
Well, yeah, I think that's what a lot of people get into because they want to change everything about. And even when I'm working with clients, I don't give them a whole bunch of new things to add to their routine or to take away or to add. It's one thing at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And some people, when they're ready for change, they're like, no, but I want to do it all right now. You are sabotaging yourself if you choose to do it where you implement too many things at one time, just like the New Year's resolutions. It won't happen. It won't continue. Set yourself up for success by just picking one thing, make it a tiny habit first, link it to something you already do if you can, and you will be much more successful.
Yeah. And it's like people who are trying to lose weight, for instance, if you lose 1 pound a week, that's not a lot of weight per week to lose, but over a whole year, it's over 50 pounds.
Yeah, that's
over
right.
2 years.
Exactly. Slow and steady wins the race, as we say, right?
Yeah. Instead of getting on that roller coaster and those yo-yo diets and all that kind of stuff that people go back and forth.
And which is so damaging anyway and makes it so much harder the next time.
Yeah, it's so bad for your body to do it that way. So.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that you have nailed everything right on the head and have given so much awesome content to people. What kinds of things do you offer professionally? Because you do have like online, you're helping people with this all the day. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Cheryl and I have known each other for many years as chiropractors, and I sold my practice a couple years ago so that I could pursue my blog and the business that is WELLFITandFED, and that's my blog. You can find me there, but it has over 200 articles now on it and a bunch of exercise videos and a bunch of different things, so check it out. And couple things because as I was coming into this, I was thinking about what solutions can we offer people. One of the things is, we talked about small change. Don't try to make massive changes. The other thing is creating a PIP. And what I mean by that is your personal improvement plan. And what that is when we're going to try to change our health, we need a support team in place, and we need a team of people who are smarter than we are. So a PIP team is, okay, you're going to set some objectives for yourself. Maybe it's losing weight. Then perhaps you you have a trainer, you have your chiropractor on board, you have a nutritionist on board, maybe you have a counselor on board, and that's your PIP brain trust or your PIP team. So I encourage those that are out there that are wanting to make some dramatic change in their life, create a personal improvement plan, write it out, write the series of goals, action steps, when you're going to implement them, and who the team is that's going to be around you to support you. So that's number one. I want to make sure I said that. The other thing is I have a program launching on March 15th that I am so excited about. It's called the Change Cave, and you mentioned it at the beginning. And what it is it's a membership program that has a 12-module online learning institute. We do master classes live master classes where we talk about the content of the module. We have a super interactive Facebook tribe of like-minded individuals ready to just kick their health to the next level, and lots of other things, videos of experts on different topics and all sorts of great stuff. And it's only $23.99 a month. And so the waiting list just opened today. And so I'm going to put the link below for the waiting list. And the good thing about the waiting list is that if you join the waiting list and then you actually register, you'll get a complimentary Change Cave journal, which is worth $16. So that'll just come directly to you after registration for putting yourself on the waiting list. And as I said, it launches March 15th, and it's going to be great. So if you have tried to lose weight and been unsuccessful, or you've tried to implement an exercise program, or you don't know what exercise program to implement, or you're trying to take your health to the next level, Change Cave is perfect because that's exactly what it's for, and it's geared toward those who are ready to make those goals stick and transform themselves.
And having the support people around you makes a world of difference. I know you know Corey Moore. She is my support person. She has coached me in triathlons, and I can tell you that having someone to hold you accountable or to answer your questions or to be your guide makes it just
so much difference. And those are the elements. I wanted the mindset element. It seems like that's what a lot of people are missing. The habit education. I wanted a tribe of people who are going to motivate each other. And then I will be there as well as coaching and motivating. And so it's a really up, down, and out kind of support team. And so I think it's going to be really, really exciting. So if anyone's interested, just go ahead on the waiting list. It doesn't obligate you for anything. And you can kind of see more about it once you're on that waiting list. Oh, and awesome. I have a gift for anyone who is listening today. And I have a book that I wrote called The 3-Day Reset. And it's a, if you just can't think about a 21-day this or a 30-day that, the 3-Day Reset is perfect for you. So it's a short, doable. You remember how we talked about the minimum effective dose? This is an MED. The 3-Day Reset is great. It's kind of like a detox, a reset, but if you practice it regularly, it can really transform your eating. I do it every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which means 40% of my month is perfect eating, organic, well-sourced, lots of nutrient-dense foods. And the book comes with meal plan, grocery list, recipes, all sorts of information, step-by-step plan, journal, the whole thing. So I am giving your listeners the digital copy of the book. All they need to do is in the comments section below is put 3-Day Reset, and I will get it to them. So that's my gift to you. Thank you. Definitely. It's my thank you also for you having me on the show today.
Oh, thank you for sharing with everybody, because I think people do get overwhelmed with longer programs. And this is a good way to show somebody that they can do things in just 3 days. That's a short amount of time. And start making changes. And then you'll see how easy it is to implement parts of that and those other days that you're not doing.
The whole idea is that you get spillover that happens throughout the rest of the week, and suddenly you're finding that you're eating well, other days of the week too. So it's great. So I look forward to letting people take advantage of that.
We will take advantage of you thoroughly. Well, thank you so much, Heather. Did you have anything else you wanted to share before we say goodbye? I mean, you've jam-packed this loaded with all kinds of awesome, great information. People are going to have to watch this 2, 3, 4 times through and jot down notes to make sure they catch everything that you said. So I think you're incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And no, I do have, Well Fit and Fed is on Facebook as well. If that's an easier thing for you, there's lots of activity on that page. But no, thank you, Cheryl. And I love what you're doing. You're bringing some great content to people who are interested in this. And I just love it. And it's a great format. And
I can't believe we've known each other for like 18 years.
I know. Very long time. It's been awesome.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to let you go for the day so you can go off and enjoy the sunshine. I'm going to get out in some sun today too so that I can get some tan. I have my Washington State paleness going on here in February, so I need to get some sun.
It's funny. It's sunny. I'm in Scottsdale and it's low cloud. Isn't that funny? Yeah.
You never know.
Gosh, I know you guys got lucky. Okay. I will see you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.